Kibouye district that lies on the shores of Lake Kivu, Karongi district, has a lot to offer to the country in terms of aquaculture and better settlement. Good evening, my name is Dana Iriza and this is Business Digest. Africa Tech Summit was held last week here in Kigali to discuss on the growth of tech ecosystem across the globe. The production of fish grows in Kibouye district through the intensification of aquaculture. The issue of high-risk settlement in the country is being improved through the program of IDP settlement. Various firms and leaders in the tech world network with different investors at the African Tech Summit. Have a look at this. Africa Tech Summit was held in Kigali last week for 2 days, bringing together experts in the world of technology. Different subjects concerning the growth of the tech ecosystem across Africa were covered and discussed by over 250 ICT stakeholders during the summit. The concerns included favorable policies for tech businesses, both in East Africa and Africa at large. The networking carried out between the various tech firms across Africa created resolutions to some of the challenges in the tech world. During the summit, top tech trends that were featured include digital banking and cashless economy, e-commerce, robotics, and many more.
It's been great attending this event in general. First day, first morning, but so far the networking part of it, different discussions. It's always important to know what other people are up to across the continent. Also seeing a lot of interest in what we have been doing in terms of our agriculture platforms, our education platforms, and real estate specifically, those three, where we've received a lot of interest. Actually, we will have follow-up meetings on how it works. A few neighboring countries interested in seeing our products tested in their own environment, because again, they really built an ecosystem, financial institutions, the client or the user, and also now the telcos. So that combination seems to have brought a lot of people to our desks asking questions. And also a big interest in robotics camp that we ran, a concept that many of the people we talked about were wondering, how did we make it happen? What was the outcome? So we were willing to share the knowledge, especially if it helps build the youth of Africa to be able to strive in a digital world, just like it was the theme for our robotics camp.
Well, I think it's been very stimulating. It's incredible. I mean, the turnout, it's been packed to the rafters, there's nowhere to sit down, and there's a real mix of people involved in disruptive technology. So we have startups, we have fintechs, we also have investors. I've seen a lot of people involved in e-commerce, so they're also in fast-moving consumer goods and logistics. There's banks, there's insurers, so a really interesting mix. But I think the key thing I can see here is that these are people who have a different mindset. These are people who are open to the idea of innovation, and I think the discussions have been amazing, and particularly actually a lot of the networking. It's been quite hard to get people out of the networking to come back in and listen to what have been very interesting presentations and panels. Well, I hope to be disruptive. And what I mean by that is I hope to come here and have my thinking on certain things change dramatically. What's so amazing about disruptive technology? It might be to do with mobile payments, it might be using drones that fly in the sky, it might be 3D printing, all sorts of strange stuff. But they can have impacts or ways of addressing problems you never imagined were possible. If you imagine only 20 years ago, everyone was saying, how are we going to lay all of the phone lines so everyone can have a phone? Well, you don't need to. You put up a mobile mast. We now have 80% of Africans have a mobile phone. And in a lot of cities, particularly like Kigali, it's almost 100% of people have a phone. So I think what's so good about holding it in Kigali is because Rwanda is one of these countries which wants to set itself out to the world as a country that wants to be a proof of concept country. The idea being you come, you try out your innovation here, you prove it works, and then take it to the world. And so I think there's a lot of sense in having it here in Kigali, this event.
Numerous firms were also featured during the summit, and these included Rwanda Online, AC Group, Yego Moto, and many others.
Our expectations, I must say, were not as high, but we are surprised at the turnout. And so far the interest has been of a lot of financial people who have basically come to either offer us some kind of funding or been more interested in learning about our business model So I would say it's been very positive. It's just been a few hours, like you said, but so far the interactions have been deep and meaningful, not just, okay, can I have a brochure, what do you do?
Here we are at the Africa Tech Summit, where different technology leaders and investors get to network and discuss on different ways to promote growth in Africa using technology and investments and also business opportunities. Here with me now is the organizer of the event, Africa Tech Summit, Mr. Andrew Fasnage. Thank you so much for having this interview with us.
Thank you for coming. We're delighted to have Rwanda TV here.
All right, so please throw more light on exactly what's happening in this event, this two-day event.
Yeah, I mean, our aim really is just very simple. It's to connect people in African tech across the continent in Kigali. Today we've had 350 delegates from 29 countries. We've had investors, startups, corporates, innovation hubs. So we got the whole ecosystem coming into Kigali. And our aim really is just to connect people, to make people connect to do business, whether it's EcoBank, who are a bank who want to meet fintech startups, whether it's Liquid Telecom, who are a corporate company who are basically delivering connectivity across Africa, Yego Modo, a local play here at DMM. So all these great corporates, they just basically want to connect with the rest of the ecosystem. So why would Facebook want to come here? I think Facebook also are really keen to develop talent and developers. So we had Facebook for Developers give a keynote this morning on what they're doing. And it's really an ecosystem event, just connecting the best from across Africa.
So please let us know, what are your expectations from this summit? It's been 1 day so far. We have one more day. What are you expecting to get out of this?
Yeah, so I think we're only halfway. We're halfway today. We have another packed day of topics tomorrow, completely different from today. I think what we've learned today is that, you know, there is a huge desire to do business in Rwanda. A lot of people wanted to come to Kigali. So tomorrow we're also going to look at other topics. So we're going to look at some businesses in West Africa, in Nigeria, and how they've scaled the business in Nigeria. We're going to have investor roundtables. So these roundtables actually give startups an entrepreneur to speak to investors. Instead of listening to a panel where they can't really ask a question, we've tried to create more interactive sessions where an investor can potentially meet some other company that he can invest in. I think that's for us, it's around connecting people for meaningful things that they can do business from.
This is the second time you're holding this event here.
First time in Rwanda.
First time in Rwanda.
It's our third one. Our third one in London is in May.
Oh, okay.
I think the aim for us is to bridge investors and technology from Africa and the rest of the world.
Okay.
So our London event in May 16th, and that really tries to, you know, showcase the best of African technology to a wider audience across the world.
All right. So have you discovered any priority areas that you think can help in accessing development?
Yes, I mean, if we look at Rwanda in particular, 60% of the GDP is from agriculture.
Great.
Agriculture represents a huge opportunity. As was spoken today by one of the panel, they mentioned, you know, kids are very keen to create apps and these other areas of technology which aren't really relevant for them in sustaining a lifestyle. But if we look at agriculture, there's huge opportunity for agriculture. So tomorrow we have an excellent panel with a local drone company, Charis, and these guys are actually using homegrown built drones from Rwanda to help farmers to produce better yields by surveying the land, finding where diseased crops are, and actually beginning to help farmers to, you know, develop their business better using technology.
Thank you so much for the useful information you've shared with us. And you're still watching Business Digest, and keep it locked. still up to date fish is being imported in the country, and this has called for modern measures of promoting fish in the country, such as setting up pontoon fish cages that can capture about 2 kgs of fish in a day. Nationally, production from capture fisheries is drastically falling, and the only feasible way to increase fish production is through intensification of aquaculture. Rwanda's fisheries production today stands at 26,000 tons annually, and most of this is from the rapidly falling capture fisheries. Production from aquaculture is still 1,700 tons annually, but with greater opportunities to increase exponentially if the required investments are done. Rwanda today is a net importer of fish and fishery products to the tunes of nearly 15,000 tons annually, and the per capita consumption is only 2.3 kilograms per year. We are here at Kibuye at Lake Kivu, and what you're seeing right here are fish cages, commonly known as pontoons, that are meant to capture about 260 tons of fish per year. As you can see, the fish cages are 6 meters per length, 6 meters per width, and 5 meters per depth. And with me right now is one of our senior fish farmers, Mr. Saladin. Thank you so much for joining us. And he is going to explain to us and throw more light on exactly what's happening here. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, first of all, Rwanda Television team, for visiting us here. And we are very proud to say that our fish, industrial level cage fish farming, is the most modern one in Rwanda. And there have been pontoons, like you can see here, in Central Africa, because it's quite developed, but in East Africa, we can proudly say that these are the first kind of most modern pontoons for fish cage farming. We did, just to update you, that we did due diligence, as there was a misconcept, which is still there, that the Lake Kivu has no place for commercial or industrial level cage fish farming, but it's only for methane gas. And you can see, as we were feeding, that the fries or the baby fish from 0.1 gram to 100 gram has grown in 2 months' time in the same water. At the moment, I think 99% I would say we are importing fish from neighboring countries, while we have a virgin, a vast and very feasible lake with us here in Rwanda.
Yes, please. So explain to us, when was this set up? How long has this been running, and what are you expecting to get out of this? What do you expect the outcome to be from this business?
Prefer, I would say, peace and discipline and government incentives. It's a preferred sector for the government, and the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, his vision for 2020 is also to have self-sufficiency in cage fish farming, in fish also, production and utilization. So that incentives, I think, gave us more encouragement, plus due diligence also for feasibility. And we started bringing the equipment. By December, our team had put up all the structure here, you can see. And as we say, it's a small step towards a giant leap. So with our provision for reaching within 5 years up to 5,000 metric tons, our production, as you rightly mentioned, for the first harvest would be 260 metric tons per year. And each cage can produce about 8 tons. This cage, which is 6 by 6, as you mentioned, by 5 meter depth, and quality is good. As you can see, the first harvest should be expected by early May, which will be 500 grams. One of the suggestions, it is in our projection also, that the youngsters, the university students, they should also be encouraged with some incentives, which has been done in Africa, Central Africa, and also in Kenya, our neighboring country, that they are taken to the model farms for on-the-job, or you can say hand-on experience. And after getting graduated from the universities in aquaculture, they are given incentives by the government to have ponds, to not in cash form but in kind, let's say fish also, loans for fish, soft loans, and for feed also, so that they can be self-sustaining. You have beautiful lake here, you have a good environment, and the lake is still unspoiled. And methane gas, of course, is there, but it's deep down, and it is only in certain areas. It is not everywhere.
Not in the entire lake.
Not in that. It's very deep down, so you have to extract it. So these are a few of the things, but we are encouraged, and I think let the qualified aquaculturists and the government relevant authorities work together, how we can improve, how we can develop this culture here.
About $500,000 has been invested in this activity. Now, with such kind of investments, the country does not have to depend on imports, and also employment opportunities are being given to the locals, especially the youth. And as you can see, Lake Kivu is such a calm lake with less turbulences, and it helps the fish cages to be intact and stay calm. And here are the barriers we're talking about, the white lines you're seeing. They protect the oil from sinking in and harming the fish.
kikaba kirimo ubwoko bw'amafi bugeze muri 76.
Lake Kivu has approximately 73 species of fish, but Sambaza happens to be the most caught fish species.
Mu buryo nyine bwa biology liminotrisamiodo gushora imari.
Investments on fish farming are being carried out in order to give assistance to the fish farmers from different cooperatives and to also ensure that there are benefits made out of the activities.
N'imikoranire yabo ndetse bakora umwuga wabo bunguka. Ikindi rero nkuko mubizi umuntu ashora imari nawe kugira ngo yunguke, kuko niba hano tuguze isambaza, ikiro cy'isambaza wenda kibe fishing project.
In situations whereby a kilo of fish is consumed at 200,000 Rwandan francs, a fish farmer should be able to get his share of the money from 1 kilo.
Kubyo wabona amafaranga wakunguka kuri toni imwe.
Despite carrying out fishing the modern way, fishing is also carried out traditionally in Lake Kivu, where fishermen start their fishing activities at 7 a.m. till late hours at night. One of the first reasons why night fishing can be so beneficial to the fish farmers is to reduce crowds it brings. Going at night will help to eliminate the aggravation and pressure that comes with fishing during the daytime. So we had to follow up on the fishery activities happening here at the pontoon cages. As you can see, the water is really calm and cool. The fish also really calm and cool. These are non-nocturnal creatures. They cannot come up at night for feeding. Another thing also noticing here is the red solar lights. These red solar lights are set up here to indicate to the locals that the activities happen here, and they're also set up here for security purposes. With all districts in Rwanda implementing IDP settlement, living standards of the locals are set to be improved, and also land is being reserved for economic activities. Have a look at this. One of the Rwanda's Vision 2020 goals is to ensure that about a proportion of at least 70% of households located in rural areas to settle in integrated settlements that offer opportunities economically for the settlers. The IDP settlement provides favorable and much more improved land use, advanced management, and better infrastructure in the rural areas. This program was organized by the government with an aim to assist households living in high-risk areas that are more likely to experience landslides and flooding. This program was also set up to remold rural settlements in Rwanda through the provision of access to clean water, a common marketplace, electricity, health facilities, improved road networks, smart classrooms, and a common cowshed. Joining me now is the district engineer Jean Damascene Hanyuririmana, and he's about to give us a brief on what this settlement is about and how long it has been set up. Please throw more light on that.
Okay, thank you. This is the Lugabano IDP model. So once you say IDP model, it's like an urban settlement in a rural area. It is a good program of our government looking for the way of planning a settlement basically in order to save the land. So by land management, we plan to use such kind of settlement.
How long have the houses been set up? When did the setting up of these houses start? And yeah.
So we started last year, and we plan to finish this phase one at the end of this February this year. Once people are settled in a grouped area, for us it's very easy to provide services and basic infrastructures like this electrical line, the water. So eventually, even the services of health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have such facilities around, like small clinics and shops set up too?
Thank you. Already we had already started the health posts nearby those houses, and we plan to construct also the short market, the short small market, and the integrated handcraft where the young people prepare and use the knowledge to develop their talent.
Okay, so when are you planning to have people settle in this area?
Thank you. Almost nearby you in this area, as you see, there are some people who settle already in high-risk zones, but with the new project of tea plantation that we have, we plan to relocate them from the risk area, and then they come in this village.
Is it free settlement for each and every local around here?
Actually, it's like free because we relocate them where we use the expropriation, but we pay them the fees for the land and the plantation only. But the one of the house will be compensated in those new houses.
Okay, so with any project, obviously there are some challenges. So please let us know, what are the challenges you're facing and what are the resolutions you have come up with to solve these challenges?
The most challenge is based on the mindset change, because relocating people is not very
the
easy.
locals' mindset or the management?
The local one.
Yeah.
So, and the second one is based on the budget, of course, because we plan to relocate almost around more than 400 households, but based on the budget we have, we start phase by phase. So for this phase one, we started on around 35 houses, 4 in 1, and we plan to start the second phase in these coming days with the 10 4 in 1 houses.
Now, the value of just one house here at Karongi Model Village is about 10 million Rwandan francs. And the fact that it can accommodate 140 households, it's very beneficial to the locals. Another reason as to why this settlement is set up is to create land space for agriculture. And now let's have a look into the market trends. On today's episode, we're going to have a look into the Consumer Price Index of the month of January 2018, brought to us by the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda. First off, the Urban Index. The Urban Consumer Price Index increased by 1.3% on an annual basis and increased by 0.2% on a monthly basis. The annual average rate between January 2018 and January 2017 is 4.3%. And looking into the Rural Index, the Rural Consumer Price Index decreased by 0.9% on an annual basis and decreased by 0.2% on a monthly basis. And the overall national index, the Rwanda Consumer Price Index, increased by 0.1% on an annual basis and was stable on a monthly basis. Next up, we're moving on to the Urban Consumer Price Index. The Urban Consumer Price Index is calculated based on approximately 1,622 products in 12 urban centers of Rwanda. The Urban Consumer Price Index increased by 1.3 in January 2018 compared to the same month of the previous year. This is mainly due to the rising prices of housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, 2.2%, and transport, 2.7%. The monthly monthly consumer price index increased by 0.2% in January 2018. This is mainly due to housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, that is 0.1%, and vegetables 1.7%. Today's show ends here. Hope to see you all next week with more stories on business.